And we are live. Hello again, everybody, and welcome back to League of Ireland. It has been a long time since you've heard my voice and the person next to me here in the studio. One of our team is running a bit late, so apologies for that, but we're going to get underway anyway. I'm LOI Colin B289, and joining me this evening is LOI Big Slate. Oh, what? Is he there?
What?
Oh, Big Pop, where is he?
Maybe
And of course we've got Dylan here as well.
Hello.
With us as well. Idelano 096. Oh wait, actually no, that's not right, is it?
Something changed.
Something changed there. What the hell? I'm just looking at his name here. Something changed. Anyway, welcome Dylan. Anyway, how are things with you?
Oh, good, except that what you call it, that Brentford game.
Oh, we don't. That doesn't
Don't
come
want
up.
to brought that one up. Don't want to brought that
No,
up.
we don't know. That's not been brought up on today. That's not what we're here for today. Obviously, we are here for the teams and the calendar announcements for season 10 of League of Ireland. It's nearly been 8 weeks since we've raced.
Yeah.
But we are finally back. So, without further ado, we won't want to keep our audience waiting. For 28 in there in the stream at the moment. So what we do first, we'll do the teams first, and we will start with tier 4 is what we're going to start with today. So just give me 2 seconds now.
Take it easy.
Take it easy. So tier 4. And there's Conal Walder in the chat. Hello, Conal. We'll find out what team you're in later on tonight. By the way, Dylan, do you know what the teams are? Or
No, I don't know.
he doesn't know, does he? Yeah, that's fine. So, time to surprise Dylan then, and time to surprise everybody with the teams for tier 4. So Red Bull was starting with is Budge and Mayo Man going together. Ferrari, we have LOI Jono and LOI Big Leo. Mercedes, we have Rory Drain and Major Jam. In the Alpine, we have Lucky Nutshot, and we actually have a spare seat at the moment in tier 4. Which will be filled later on during the week. McLaren, we have Wheelo and Carl C98. Alfa Romeo, we have got Sooty Baby and Will Sliney. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Aston Martin, a return to the grid for Johnny Bastille, and the Bertifer is his teammate. Alpha Tauri, there they are. We have Lukey Dookie and Aaron Hennessy. In the Haas, we have Daniel Mullen 96 and Roranosaurus, and the Williams is Kunagi and Catfish Corey. So that is the grid for tier 4. So anything that catches your eye straight away, Dylan, or
I kind of thinking what you call it. In terms of teams, you have to look at Red Bull and Mercedes. It's one to look out on with. Mayo Man improve in the second half of the season, especially with a couple of podiums along the way for himself, and Major Jam improve with his pace at the same time, but you can never count out with Rory Drain, Jono and Budge with their race pace whatsoever. So
Absolutely, yeah. That's fair. Interesting to see how Wheelo gets on this year, obviously. Excuse me. A lot of these lads now were actually in the tier 5 last season, weren't they? So it'll be interesting to see how they kind of get on against the tier 4 guys. But as we always say in the tier 4, keeping your nose clean is half the battle, really, isn't it?
It does. It literally does. As may notice from last season, you have to keep your nose clean. Get your points on the board, or podiums, or even race wins.
That's a tier 2 world champion talking there, lads, so please pay attention. Absolutely. I've just sent you the list there. Any names to look out for, do you think? Any surprisings? Anyone do you think that could win the championship? Who do you think would be your favourite at the moment? Or If we to pick it right now, I'll give my predictions as well, guys, because I'm very good at getting them wrong. So that's I apologise for that in advance.
You had. It's a tough one to call it with at the moment. But it's between Mayo Man or Rory Drain from the looks of things. I think Rory Drain, he's always in around the points and even the podiums. Even he's always getting himself in the good point scoring position. I think he's able to contend with race wins. No, with competitive grid. Same too as Mailman as well. Dark Horse, I would say Shooty Baby.
Agreed. I had that beforehand. Just so everybody knows who I'm actually going with this season, because I always give the wrong predictions. I have Johnny Bastille actually winning the championship this year, and I have got Red Bull as constructors, is my opinion. But I could be wrong, and more likely I probably will be wrong. So
maybe you're calling be right now, Jenks strikes again.
Absolutely, there's nothing else that the Jinx are calling B. So that's tier 4. So now we're going to move on to tier 3, and Dylan said he didn't know the teams, but I'm actually going to send him this one now.
Fair enough.
There you go. Okay, so you can announce the tier 3 teams now, everybody.
There we go. K Flamo in the Red Bull, K Flamo and Blue Gunner. In the Ferrari, we got Aaron Sully and LOI Glenn Mack. In the Mercedes, we got Ryan Kern and DKF1. In the Alpine, we got DeFawns and D Flynn. McLaren, we got Kachiga and Dabra. Alfa Romeo, we got LG Gaffo and Sanko. Aston Martin, we got Twin Gene and O'Connor. AlphaTauri, we got Jay Carley and Bluefoot. Haas, we got LOI, Real Johnny and Irish Asa. And in the Williams, LOI, Nolan and Waswell.
Yeah, very competitive tier that again, I have to say. Tier 3 is always competitive, though. First things first, just to get out of the way, Kachuga back in his McLaren. That's usual. That's just a normality, isn't it?
There's 3 certain things in life: death, taxing, and Kachuga in the McLaren.
Absolutely. That's the way it always seems to pan out, doesn't it? Yeah. Any first impressions there? Any gut reaction that you think? Or?
There's a couple of people have to point to prove on, in fairness, like from look of the grid. Ryan Kern need to get out of the spinning habits into top 5 finish or podium finishes. And Gaffel, he's really consistent, but he needs to get himself a race win as soon as possible with the form he's in. And interesting to see what Real Johnny and Waswell gets on. Waswell was 5 for the title for first half of season until, yeah, it's interesting to see, to call.
Yeah, I think the way I'm looking at it is you quite a few teams can have one like very kind of experienced driver in the tier, and then one that's kind of like you don't know what you're kind of going to get from them, and I think that's what tier 3 is about. I think Flemo's kind of a good racer in that tier. I think interesting to see how Aaron Sully comes back this season for me in particular. There's always the question about Kachiga, but obviously Davra doing so well in the lower tier last season. So interesting to see he jumps 2 tiers now. So interesting to see how he gets on with faster drivers around him for me.
Yeah, definitely.
But Twin Gene's the one that kind of stood out to me straight away when I saw this earlier on, because he was in tier 2 a lot last season actually, and he did pretty well in it. So I was a little bit surprised when he was there, but that's just how it's turned out.
Yeah, certainly.
And if I had to pick it right now, that's who I would go with. I would go with Twin Gene. And the constructors is a very tough call actually.
Yes.
I have to say, because I'd probably end up going with Aston Martin anyway, because of the Drivers' Champions being from there, but I mean, yeah, very tough one to call in my opinion, I have to say.
It is a very tough one to call it, but I can't stay away from Alfa Romeo for the constructors. In fairness, I think Gaffo has consistency in him to carry the team along with Sanko, and he's on the wheel at first, I believe.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So hopefully it would be interesting to see how he pace get on. So I think Alfa Romeo for constructors. For the drivers, I had to go. For the drivers, it's either Gaffo or Roswell.
Okay, interesting. Interesting pick. Excuse me, guys. A bit of a nightmare there. Anyway, so we're now halfway through. Well, now it's time to announce the Tier 2 teams for this season. Wherever they are. There they are, right here in front of me. So, back with Tier 2 now, back to the start. Red Bull, we have got LOI, Big Funny Guy. I know you're in the chat there somewhere, mate. You are in the Red Bull, mate. And you've got Cav1892 as your teammate. Ferrari is Aaron McCann and Sully TM. Mercedes is Smoking Aces and Dylan's best mate Ben Ratcliffe. Lovely, I had to bring it up. Alpine, you have Jack Does Games and OP Gamer. McLaren, you have Spider-Man who runs out of fuel and Rando. The Alfa Romeo, you have Jinx and Bear Grylls. Interesting one. Bear Grylls in Tier 2 this season. Aston Martin is also Twin Gene actually and RNC. His Twin Gene's been put down twice on my list. That might be a bit of an error. This is all Big Pat's fault. We're just reading what he's given us here. So, AlphaTauri is Shane M and Bunsey. A return to the grid for Bunsey. Haas is the Banter King and James Mallon. And the Williams, you have Griffin and TM Ducky. So that is your Tier 2 grid for this season upcoming. Now, obviously, you won this championship a couple of seasons ago. Very, very tough tier, I have to say. It always has been, always will be to call. Any predictions there, you think, or a standout to you? Or?
AlphaTauri is one to spring into mind with Bunsey and Shane. Shane improved massively with what you call completely no assists whatsoever. And Bunsey, I'm quite interested to see how Bunsey is getting on, in fairness, with a season break.
Exact same.
So, you got a couple of names, what you call it? Cav would be happy with back in the Red Bull again. With Funny Guy, interested to see Funny Guy get the race win finally. And
yeah, that'll be a big of an ask for him in that tier, but that's he loves his all pole positions. Just Funny Guy, just sent it on to you there, doesn't? So, the one that's interesting me at the moment, actually, in this tier when I saw this earlier was, of course, Sully TM now. It was in Tier 1 last season. He's now gone back to Tier 2. It'll be interesting to see how he gets on. Now, because I think there'll be a bit of pressure on him this time, as he was a Tier 1 driver last season, to be up there again, to be up there in this championship this season. So it will be interesting for me how he gets on. And, of course, Jinx and Bear Grylls, both on the same team, coming from lower tiers, going to make things very, very interesting, I think. Bear Grylls has done much better since he's been on that wheel.
He's dramatically improved, in fairness. Like, he brings the consistency and also the pace dramatically improved. I think he got pole position in the tier higher than him one time and the podium
USA,
as well.
I think, wasn't it?
Yeah,
think it was
USA
USA.
for podium.
He got points in tier 1 in that race.
Still remember that.
That was a nightmare, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Absolutely. Well, fair play to him again, obviously. Quite a few changes actually, because Rando and OP Gamer coming up as well, so, and Griffin coming up, so quite a few changes to the grid from last season, I have to say. And it's good, obviously, because it's good to see people constantly doing well, and a lot of people are actually getting better at the game, which is kind of what you want to see, really. So, same question again now, does it? Well, I'll call this as well. Who's your champion, and who are the constructors' champions? Do you think?
I can't. I had to go for OP Gamer.
Okay. I think I'm a solid TM. But
for constructors, it's either AlphaTauri or Alfa Romeo. So I go for AlphaTauri for the constructors.
AlphaTauri, okay. I'm going to... Oh, tough one. I'm going to go with Ferrari. I'm going to go with Ferrari in this one. I'm going to go Aaron McCann. I think Aaron McCann will have a better season this season, and I think Ferrari will be the ones to watch, in my opinion, this season. But then again, we will have to wait and see, won't we?
Yeah, definitely.
Right, that's tier 2. Tier 1 now, the big one. How is this going to go? Dylan has no idea what team he's in either. That's the funny part about this. So it is time to surprise people. And I'll tell you one thing, I saw this afternoon and I got a few surprises myself. So this is going to be interesting. Red Bull, we have got LOI Wami and Joshinator 6000. Ferrari, LOI Colin B289 and LOI Fangio. Mercedes remains the same as last year. Dilzer and Section. Alpine reigning champion Mr. Ice Cold Andy and Darren O'Brien. McLaren, a former Tier 1 constructors team, LOI Dano M and LOI Sossi. Alfa Romeo, Tier 2 World Champ, LOI Con with LOI Seabox. Aston Martin, LOI Kajoko and Maglox. AlphaTauri, Rayan and Idelano. Haas, we have SJR and Fraser McBott. And Williams is Ryan Dav and Tier 1 Wheelo.
Wow.
First of all, AlphaTauri. What do you make of that? Were you expecting that?
Not expecting that. I've always lowered down, or Aston Martin, but AlphaTauri, I take it either way.
Excellent stuff. And you're with Rayan, obviously. So, any thoughts on that, or?
See how it pans out. It would be interesting to see. Hopefully, we get good points on the board during this tier and the season upcoming. In fairness,
absolutely. Ryan Dav doesn't want the Williams. That's you can blame Paddy for that, Ryan. You can blame that, Dav. That's completely Paddy's fault.
I want to know this, Colin, from your perspective. Ferrari out of the Aston Martin. What you expected from that one?
I have to say, I wasn't expecting that at all. I expected to stay in the Aston this season, but obviously they wanted the drivers who did best last season, so obviously they think that they sacked the reserve driver in Ferrari, so that's not a good start for him. And yeah, they just said they'd have a change this season, they'd mess more people up strategically, so that's the way it worked out there. So obviously it's be interesting to see how it gets on. As I said, I honestly didn't have a clue that it was going to be Ferrari this season. So hopefully I build on from last season from my point of view, because obviously I finished 5th in the championship. But It was only alright last year, but hopefully it can carry on. Go be higher this season, but it will be tough. It's always tough in Tier 1. So I won't be expecting
I'm not expecting big
that
things.
much.
Either way.
I'm not either, I have to say. Obviously, Andy and Darren back together again.
Yeah.
They won the double last year, so expecting them to be tough again to beat this year. I have to say, I think Andy goes in as the favourite from Tommy, in my view. But that's only my opinion. Good to see, obviously, Dav on the grid, and there are a few changes next. Obviously, Faze, Connell and Josh, they reserved a lot last season, but now they're full-time Tier 1. Josh finally gets his shot at a Tier 1 seat, which is what he was after for such a long time, and in my view, well deserved, I have to say. So, looking forward to.
To be fair to Josh, it's a long time coming for him.
Yeah, absolutely. He's always been the one on the border, hasn't he?
He is.
But I think last year he showed he could race properly, and it's good to see.
Absolutely.
Good to see Seabox back on the grid next season. Interesting to see who you have, how he gets on with Con. That'll be fascinating.
Yeah. And Saucy and Dan.
That was the one that caught my eye straight away.
Yeah, it is. That's what they won in constructors in season 6, I believe.
Yeah, season 6, and there was only, I think, 5 points between them and the drivers to that season. So 3 points actually. Excuse me. So interesting to see how they get back on together.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's fascinating. All right, so the big one, who do we think is going to win the drivers and the constructors? So Dylan's going to go first. I'm then going to pick who I think will win both championships, but we'll see.
For the drivers, I can't see anywhere near Andy. I think Andy will get back-to-back titles, in fairness. For the constructors, it's a tough one to call it. I think you have to go Dan O.M. and Darcy for the constructors.
Interesting.
Alfa Romeo, was it?
Alfa Romeo, Connell and Box.
I think our own team might go on.
Very good. Well, I personally think it would be Andy and Alpine again. That's my opinion, but we will have to wait and see. I think Darren will get the results as well. They'll both do very well this season, I think. And I think they'll be constructors champions. So they are the teams, everybody. So if you want to go back and have a look, that is it. Yeah, Fanjo's not too happy in the chat of my predictions, but what we do know is I do like to jinx people, so we'll see if that pays benefit again. Now, I think one that a lot of people are waiting for is the calendar.
Oh.
Now, am I correct in saying you don't know what the calendar is?
Nope. I don't know.
He doesn't know. Well, Paddy's only just sent me this about an hour ago, so I haven't had much to react to it. I have no idea where he is, to be honest with you, Dav. So we'll go have a look in the Ferrari first of all, no bias there whatsoever. So, the season starts the 8th of January. So it's this Sunday, it starts, Tier 3. And we're going to go over here for the first race. I think it'll be Dylan.
I think it's Bahrain.
You think it's Bahrain? Well, so did I, before I got told. This is the first race, everybody. The Silverstone Grand Prix around Great Britain. The British Grand Prix will start this season. Reactions?
That's what I wasn't expecting that. In fairness, I think Dan O.M. could take it.
Yeah, he absolutely could, couldn't he? Dan, are you watching Dan O.M. in that new McLaren seat? Yeah, I have to say that's a good start to the season in Great Britain. The week after, 15th of January, we go to North America for the Mexican Grand Prix. So Mexico is number 2. Dan has gone past it. Well, you said that last year, mate, and you won it, and you won the race by about 50 seconds. So I don't think I don't think you've gone past it, mate, somehow. But anyway,
Yeah.
so Mexico, second race of the season. Not a great track for me, this one. So I'm not expected to do well there at all.
It's, same boat as you. Not a great track for me as well.
Yeah. So that's number 2. Number 3. This has been off the calendar for a bit, I think.
Well,
We're back there in Monza.
Ooh.
The Italian Grand Prix around Monza.
Interesting.
There'll be pressure on my teammate that week that the Tifosi would expect. So there'll be no pressure on me though.
Lovely.
Anyway. So, number 4 on the 29th of January this starts. This race week starts around the Hungaroring in Hungary. That is race number 4. Right. Then we have a week break on the 5th. So there'll be no race that week. And then we have 8 straight races to the end of the season. Starting with, under lights, Singapore Grand Prix. Round 5 is Singapore. Starting the 12th of February. Dylan's laughing his head off there. What's that all about?
No, this is one of my strongest tracks, in fairness.
It is? Okay, well, we expect Dylan to get a win then around there.
Not expecting much, but anyway.
Anyway, so that is it anyway. Season, round 5, sorry, will be around Singapore. Round 6, the 19th of February, halfway through the season, Spa-Francorchamps, the Belgian Grand Prix. One of my worst tracks on the game. I don't like. I'm one of a kind. I'm one of only a few that doesn't like this track, but I get plenty of abuse for that.
Oh,
So that's the 6th round. Then the 26th of February, round 7, we're going this way. Back to a track a lot of people want to see on the calendar. A street circuit. But it's not Monaco, it's Azerbaijan.
Aye.
Yeah. Monaco and Azerbaijan are close on the calendar, so I was hoping I might catch a few people there and hope to put the analog over Monaco, but it is Azerbaijan this season back on the calendar.
Fangio would be loving it.
Fangio's loving that. He'll win round there, no bother. No pressure on you, Fangio, mate. Round 8, the 5th of March. Round 8. This way. Finally back on the calendar, and we just raced here the other day for LOI. There we are. Bahrain. Which I believe is the same weekend the season starts, does it? Am I right in saying that?
I think so.
That would be typical Paddy to do something like that, actually.
Yeah, it would be.
That's the way he does some of these tracks, so. Anyway, round 9. So there'll be 4 rounds to go when this round starts, and we're going all the way over here to South America for the Brazilian Grand Prix. So Brazil is on the calendar again. Seems to be on every year, doesn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. Near the end of the season, especially.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's always standard with Brazil going pretty near the end of the calendar.
Absolutely. So round 10. No pressure on the Red Bulls in this race. When we go here. The Red Bull Ring. The Austrian Grand Prix. That will take place the 19th of March, so that is Paddy's weekend. So it'll be Austria. The 26th of March then is another race in North America, but it's a quarter, or is it Miami? We're going this way, which means it's Coda. Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas, for round 11.
It's not very good with racing, like last season with the tiers.
Don't bring up last season.
Don't mention tier 1, but tiers below.
I was like a dog after this race last year, never going to forget it. Fanjo will tell you in the chat. I know Fanjo's going to say in the chat then, go on Fanjo, throw that, mate.
Oh no.
Actually won that race last year. And round 12, well, I'm going to get even more abuse at this track when it gets here. Under lights in the Middle East, Abu Dhabi, the 2nd of April. A track I have a love-hate relationship on, I say that much.
Oh, jeez. It's like one of them situations that it's like a love-hate relationship with.
Oh, very much so. I love the circuit, but it's just I've had some good luck, and I've had some really bad luck over the years. So,
oh no,
over the few seasons we've had there. So, yeah, that'll be the final race of the season. Round 12 will be in Abu Dhabi, same as season 7 actually. Final race of the season. That season was around here, and we'd have the same again. And that is it. That is your calendar, and they are your teams for this season. And Paddy still isn't here. Don't know where he is, mate. I'll be honest with you. So the season starts anyway, 8th of January, around the Silverstone Circuit on Sunday at 9 PM, I believe, but we'll confirm that as we go. Also look out for who your head admins and your admins will be for your specific tiers. I have absolutely no idea who they are at the moment, but we will obviously let you know in each individual chat. And yep, that's it from me. So anything else to add, Dylan? Or
no, hopefully everyone, best of luck to the season coming ahead. So
absolutely.
Yeah, hopefully get the season start rolling for this week coming.
Absolutely raw. I'm looking forward to it anyway. As everyone, the very best of luck to everybody this season. If you are new to LOI, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. We would appreciate that an awful lot. But until then, from me, there's nothing else to add. So the best of luck to everybody, and we will see you all again on Sunday. I have no idea who will be in the commentary box, but we will obviously let you know during the week who will be on comms for the first race of season 10 around Silverstone. So until then, it's bye bye for now, and we'll see you all again very, very soon. Bye bye, everybody.